What's going on, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video, and I will be reacting to 4 frightening stories that happened while playing Among Us. Among Us is a video game. If you don't know, it's been gaining a lot of popularity this year. You know, I think it came out in 2018, but this year, 2020, has been a very good year for those game developers. That and something called Plasmaphobia, I think it's called. A lot of people been playing like right now, Halloween and stuff like that. So, but this is from Nightmare Files, I believe. But anyway, it will be a link in the description, so you can go over if it's Nightmare Files or anybody, whoever it is. I'm pretty sure it's Nightmare Files. Go over their channel, subscribe, comment, like their videos, show them some love, and let's get into it. Hope this thing. Oh, okay. I thought my headphones cord was wrapped around my cell phone charger cord. So I did not want to move and end up just falling off there and snatching my headphones off my head. But alright, here we go.
That said, open for discussion. I clicked on it and it revealed Nightmare Files.
I thought about getting this game. I hate playing online with people. I hate it.
My name is Martin and I have
With
a
strangers, I
son
should
whose
say.
name is Lewis. Recently, my son asked me to buy and install a game for his PC named Among Us. He's been playing it every day since. I don't really play video games, but I asked him how he was enjoying it and if he was playing with his friends or not. He told me, yeah, he plays with his friend Colin. One night, I had made Lewis dinner and told him to come down and eat. He said he was in the middle of the game on Among Us. He then asked me to play as he went to eat. I laughed, but I agreed. I wanted to see what this game was my son was playing so much anyway. I sat down and put the headset on and did my best to start playing. A discussion popped up and I saw Colin's name.
And somebody was like, noob.
His voice wasn't what I was expecting. It was a man's voice. He kind of sounded like he was in his mid-30s at least. I quit the game and went to ask Lewis some questions about his friend Colin. I thought maybe it was his dad playing at the time. I asked Lewis what class his friend Colin was in and what he looked like.
Well, that's the thing. You play
Lewis told me
online.
he didn't know.
You can play with anybody.
I said, how don't you know? He's your friend from school, isn't he? Lewis shook his head no, and he said he's not my friend from school. He's my friend from Among Us. Lewis said he played with Colin and Colin added him and plays with him every time he's online. I'm not really any good with video games or computers, so I asked Lewis to block Colin and never play with him again.
Dang, how old are
I didn't
you?
feel comfortable with an older man playing with my 10-year-old son.
I mean, yeah, I can
Later
understand
that
that.
night, before Lewis went to bed, I asked him if he had done what I asked him to do and block Colin on his game. He said yeah. He also said when he said it on the mic that he couldn't play with Colin anymore. Colin got very angry and started shouting at him. I'm glad I found out when I did. But there was something wrong with this Colin.
That was a creep.
I thought that would be the end of it until the other day when I picked Lewis up from school. I saw he had a drawing with him. I couldn't see what it was exactly because I was driving, but I asked Lewis if he drew this in art class. He told me no. He found it in his bag during the lunch break. When we got home, I had a better look at the drawing. It was a drawing of 2 characters from Among Us. They were both holding hands. Above one of the characters was the name Lewis, and above the other character was the name Colin. It disturbs me that whoever this Colin is, he knows where my son's school is, and somehow had access to Lewis's bag.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
I've told both the police and the school about this, and I haven't heard anything or had another incident like this since. Just be careful.
Oh yeah, I mean, like as you play online, you play with anybody. That's what I played Dying Light online with somebody. And it was, I think it was, it sounded like a kid. He just started
We
cursing
all
up a
know about the
storm.
game called Among Us,
Like, I was
but
like,
not everyone knew about it
dude.
back in 2018. I downloaded the app back when it first came out, along with a few of my friends and some of their friends. We play a lot of games where it was just us and no one else. There was my friend Gianna, who would always invite this guy named Tyler, but I didn't know him, and the rest of us didn't know him either. It went maybe a month of playing every day to every other day, but I couldn't stand that guy Tyler. He would always try to turn everyone against each other and would get mad that I call him out. So one day, I told everyone that I won't play with them again
Isn't that kind
if
of
Tyler
point of that
continues
game?
to play. So everyone, including Gianna, chose to not play with Tyler anymore. That decision was made while we were in the middle of a game, and Tyler was voted out. Before he left, he said he'd see me around. We all laughed sarcastically and said that he's mad and he's a tough guy. The next day, I
You
was
know he
just
was
getting home
crazy
from
though.
school like I usually do and ate some food. My older brother had a basketball game because he played for the varsity team in our high school. So my family left me because I just wanted to stay home. As I were laying down in bed in my room, which is on the first floor near the back of the house, I heard my back fence move. I looked out of my window and I
That
saw that the
sound.
light came on because it was dark by this time. I didn't see anything or anyone, so I continued watching TV and texting. I then began to doze off. The knock on my window immediately woke me up completely. I looked out the window, and standing there was some guy in a black Nike hoodie, black sweatpants with a pipe in his hand. The guy smiled at me and said, "Hey, I'm Tyler.
Oh
What's
boy.
up now?" He hit my window with the pipe, and it cracked the window, then ran to my back door. I called my parents and started to scream and yell. They were actually pulling up to the
He
house
said, "What's
from the
up
game,
now?"
getting ready to walk in. I ran out of the front door, and I'm guessing that guy ran away hopping my back fence. I called Gianna and asked her how he knew where I lived. She told me that he was actually her boyfriend from another school and threatened her if she wouldn't give him my address. I've never been so afraid in my life.
Wow.
And I also never knew anyone could get that mad over video games.
Yeah, that's a bit extreme. I mean, I guess if you playing with a group of people that you know and somebody's like, I don't want to play with them, and they all decide to like not play with you anymore, I can be upset, but not that
My
upset.
name is Paul. I play
If
a
it's
lot of
me, I
video
just be
games
like,
with my
fuck them.
group of friends.
Like,
Recently, we've been playing Among Us most nights. Every time my friends and I play video games together, we always used our mics, and a lot of times we just trolled other players. We were playing Among Us
you are the
and had a lot of
worst
discussions
player.
about who the killers could be. Me and my
The
two friends,
trolls.
whose names were Harry and Wayne, thought it was the guy named Sean, and so did the rest of the lobby. We eventually voted him to be ejected. During the discussions, Sean was getting more and more aggressive, insisting it wasn't him who was the killer. And me and my two friends actually found it quite funny. After the game, Harry had received a message from a guy named Sean saying he wasn't the killer,
Was he an
and we shouldn't have
imposter?
ejected him, and so on. The rest of the players in the discussion that we think Sean's the killer. So that's what we did. We played the 2 games with the Sean guy, each time trolling him into the slightest of sounds. I woke up around 2 a.m. by the sound of a car.
Oh, trolls.
I looked out my window and I saw a car parked just outside my house.
How these
The
people?
car was still running, but no one got out, no one got in the car. I looked around and saw my street to be empty. Just before trying to go back to sleep, my computer started up. I went over to my computer and there was a blue screen. In the middle of the blue screen was an icon that said, "Open for discussion." I clicked on it and it revealed a very gory photo of a man who was cut in half, and underneath was written, "You have been ejected." I tried to move the mouse and turn off my computer, but it didn't work. The only thing to do was to look at the gruesome photo.
Was this a hacker that
My
you pissed
computer
off?
did turn off eventually, and as soon as it did, that car that was outside my house slowly drove off. The next day, I woke up and saw a text from my friends Harry and Wayne, and they both said they had similar experiences, that they received weird pictures on the computer and phones, pictures of people cut in half.
They sound like a hacker.
I asked them both if they think it was something to do with that guy we were trolling. They both didn't know what to think. I thought that Sean guy somehow found out where we lived and hacked our devices. What scares me is how real the photos were, and how he knew where me and my friends lived and was able to hack our devices so easily.
Yeah, that is kind of scary. Like, especially like, damn. I mean, yeah, y'all asshole trolls. I hate trolls, especially playing video games. Trolls and hackers, I hate them. But on PC games, but just that was a bit much.
For the past week and a half, every evening, my friends and I have been playing Among Us. 3 nights ago, I texted my 2 friends who usually play with me if they have time to play. One of them said they were too busy, and the other one, whose name is Rick, didn't reply, so I assumed he was busy. I was going to play anyway, but I saw that Eric was on the game and invited me to play. I figured he saw me on the game, invited me, and couldn't be bothered to reply. So Eric and I played that evening on Among Us. What was unusual was Eric was very quiet when we were having discussions. He was on the mic, but I could barely hear what he was saying. I actually texted him a few times telling him that he needs to turn his mic up, but he never replied. After playing for a few hours, I had enough and I decided to call it a night. I spoke on the mic to Eric and I said I was going offline, but he didn't reply again. A few hours later, I got a text from Eric saying, "Sorry, I didn't reply. I was out and forgot my phone at home." I was confused, thinking, how was I just playing with him if he wasn't at home? Before I could reply, he sent another text saying, "What do you mean, turn my mic up?" I texted him back saying, "How did you play Among Us with me if you weren't at home?" He said, "I haven't played Among Us since yesterday, but it looks like someone has been in my room and also had gone through all my things. Eric lives alone."
Played your game.
I replied saying that it was definitely his account on the game and I was playing with him. And I even heard his mic being used. Eric replied saying that he thinks someone had broken into his house, and also his spare key was missing from his garden, and a Snickers bar from his kitchen table. It creeps me out to know
sound like a kid
snuck into Eric's house,
teenagers,
somehow knew where a spare key was, played Among Us with me, and I had no idea who it was.
Because what kind of adult would take a Snickers bar? I mean, he said he went through his other stuff. He's the thing that he said was missing was a Snickers bar, and somebody was playing his video game and using his mic. That sounds like something a kid would do, like, or a mentally ill adult. Because like, why would you do that and then just take a Snickers bar? And he said he lived alone, so he lived by himself. And oh, this is a weird thing to do. And they get on the game and start playing. Like, I like people who do shit where they'll break into somebody's house and just make themselves at home. Like, they'll sit down, eat, make a sandwich. Like, you did the rob, and you know, especially if you don't know like how much time you have. You know, like if you didn't, you know, recon and look to see if this person, you know, just left or what have you. All you see is there's no cars in the park, and they garage, and they walkway on a in a driveway. I kept wanting to say parking garage, you know, or a parking lot, and in a driveway. And so you just break in, and that person could be 5 minutes away, you know, unless you know, looking at seeing someone and you're like, oh, they went on vacation, or you see them just leaving and you break in. Just, I'm gonna make myself home, not gonna cut on any lights or anything like that, because I don't want the neighbors to see. But I'm gonna make myself at home, sit there, eat their food and shit, and then, you know, stay here for, you know, a day or two and leave. Like, some people are bold like that. Yeah, because you don't know how long the people gonna be gone. They could be gone one day, and you just stay there. You try to stay there for 2, and they walk in on it, But or they look and see, mail. They check mailboxes and look and see you get a bunch of mail and and maybe you're not home and there's no cars, that you maybe you went on vacation, something like that. Or there's newspapers. You get like 2 or 3 newspapers on your doorstep or in your driveway. And, we know you haven't been for 3 days at least, because they deliver papers every day. So, or they deliver that particular paper every day. But that one, this guy, like, how do you know where that? I'm like, they gotta be hackers, because how did he know where that kid lived? Let the kid gave him his address, but I mean, I don't know how old the kid was. He said 12. Something. He was 12. He should know better. But he said it was a picture. Clearly, this man's crazy, because he's a picture of 2 Among Us characters, and over them had the boy's name and his name and the guy's name, holding hands. It's like in his backpack, and like, why? What? But if I was a father and I got on a game and I heard, like, I have a kid, especially under the age of, I would say 12, or probably like 13, maybe I'd go, like, if they under the age of 13, so they're 12 and under, I might be a little bit apprehensive of letting them play with adults, maybe because of shit like this. But the thing is, you can't really control who you play with when you playing online, like in an open lobby. I mean, you can have private lobbies and stuff like that. So I'm only playing with friends I have from school or other kids. I mean, it can't be other kids. It has to be people if it's a private lobby. But because I play Grand Theft Auto 5 online and be all different types of people. I played with people who didn't even speak English. Like, I remember I played with me and them just randomly linked up. I don't know why. I was playing a game for, I think, like 2 or 3 hours, and we were just kind of just together. We weren't really even doing anything. We did some like races and stuff, but we was kind of just hanging out weirdly, and I was just like, okay, like, I guess they just started, like, and I could hear them I was speaking through my mic on my headset, my old headset, and I could hear them. They were speaking, sounded like they were speaking Portuguese, and I don't know if they knew each other, but because it's 2 characters, it was a girl and a guy, and they were speaking Portuguese, and I couldn't understand. But we were able to, like, we got in the car. Everybody just got in the car, just went around. So it was, and then we started, like, the guy, he just started randomly shooting other players. So then we were like, and then she started shooting. I was like, we were together, so I started shooting, and my level wasn't that high, so I didn't have as, like, our weapons wasn't as good as theirs. Well, at least the guys, the girl, her weapons were similar to mine, and yeah, we would just go around. Then we started going around, like, killing people and stuff. So, like I said, if you in those public lobbies, you don't have any real say so and who you play with. So it might be kind of hard, like I said, unless he decides to go in a private lobby. But yeah, I remember I played Dying Light, and it was some guy. It was a kid. I played multiple times with people. It was the kid I was talking about, who got on there and just started cursing and started. I mean, he was just like, motherfucker this and shit, and like, he just started cursing like up a storm. And somebody told him, they was like, it was a chick, and she's like, well, won't you stop cursing? And he's like, fuck you, bitch. And he started yelling and cursing. I was like, who is that? And I just end up just leaving, and I just ended up leaving because it was I hosted it, and I ended up just cutting it. I was like, man, because I usually played that game with my brother and his best friend online, and we had another friend, but he stopped playing like a long time ago, and but we would play, and I think one night they didn't I just happened to want to play and they weren't on, so I started playing. I said, you know what? I've never done it before. I'll host a game, and I hosted the game. And as soon as I hosted it, like, it filled up quick because only you only be like up to 4 players. And then one guy, he came in there. I don't know what he started kicking a wall. Like he just stand the wall and just kicking it over and over. And I'm like, what the fuck? And that's when the other kid, he was like, first I couldn't hear him because he was so, it almost sounded like he was real close to his mic, and it was muffled. And then all of a sudden, it then started coming in clear, and he just cursing. And I hear the girl, and she was like, she was trying to ask me like how long. She was like trying to have like general conversation, like how long I've been playing, and stuff. I'm trying to talk to her, but this kid was just, I was like, is he talking to somebody? Because either way he was cursing. I said either he has like Tourette's or something, but it didn't really sound like someone with Tourette's. It sounded like he was talking to somebody, cursing, but he wasn't. I was like, who is he talking to? I was like, he's talking to the guy who just standing there kicking the wall. Like what? Because he wasn't talking to the chick, because she was talking to me. Because I guess she trying to talk because I hosted it. That was the game, and she was like, she's like, oh, this is my favorite like zombie game and all this stuff. And she's like, I play, and I was like, yeah, I got on this after I played Dead Island and stuff like that. And I was like, and she's like, oh yeah, she's like, yeah, I played Dead Island. She's like, I like Dead Island until this came out. I was kind of the same way. I still like Dead Island, but yeah, when you play Dying Light, I was like, yeah, it's not. It's not. Man, my lips were dry. It's not like it's definitely like a different feel, and you like you playing Dead Island. Like I see it's for sale now on PlayStation Store. I'm just like I was gonna get that, and I think Dead Island Riptide or whatever. And I was thinking about getting them. Then I was like, I have Dying Light though. I mean, I've beaten Dying Light multiple times and beaten the following, which is the extension of Dying Light, a few times. So I was like, it's just a different game. Maybe I get it, and I don't know. But yeah, and it was another instance. It was a guy kind of like this where he was trolling. And he would do like what game were we playing? It wasn't Dying Light. Well, I mean, Grand Theft Auto. There's so many trolls in that. That's almost like a rite of passage. You deal with people who just. I go into that game with all of a sudden I'm running and I was like get sniped in the head and somebody just keeps killing you. And then of course they've been playing they've been playing the game a lot more than you have. They're higher level than you, so they have better weapons, better gear, and they can just kill you over and over and over. I've had plenty of trolls. There were plenty of trolls in Grand Theft Auto 5. But there was another instance where I was playing with somebody on the game and they kept like, because it was like friendly fire was on. They were like kill us. What game was that? I can't remember. All I remember can't remember the game. The same amount. What was it? But I remember he kept killing. Like he would do shit like throw grenades and blow us, say people on the same team, and then laugh about it. He would run into places and get down, and then we had to try to get him back up. Was that wasn't Left 4 Dead because it went on Xbox. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, you deal with trolls all the time. I can't stand trolls. That's one thing why I hate playing. I've hated playing games like on PC. Like you get great resolution, and I do feel when people say like you play a game on a PC and then you go back and play games on console, and the dip in the graphics or the resolution or whatever is so evident. It's like you like, man, it's just like watching the TV like that has basically like you watch like a 4K TV and then you go back and have like a I don't know, like a 720 or something like that TV or something, and you're like, whoa, it looks different, you know. But at the same time, it don't really bother me because I mean I come from an age where we had Super Mario and stuff like those games. They're fun, but they're not graphic, you know, like superior graphic design games. They're fun to play, but especially like the early PlayStation era. But but yeah. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.